Well, hello, and thanks for joining me for our weekly video devotional. My name is Joel Luz. As you know, I'm one of the pastors here at Suntree United Methodist Church. And to start off with, I'm going to ask you a question. Here's what I want you to do. Do you like to fish? And if so, raise your hand. Okay, you raise your hand. Yeah, I like to fish. I've actually been fishing my entire life, just about. I grew up in Orlando. I used to fish in the lakes around Orlando. And my dad, we owned a boat, so my dad would take me fishing. And believe it or not, we would travel all the way over here to the east coast of Florida along the Intracoastal Waterway and fish there. We'd fish out in the Atlantic Ocean. And I've caught all kinds of fish in my life. I've caught a couple of sailfish. I've caught grouper. I've caught snapper. I've caught dolphin and all kinds of other fish, whitefish, catfish, and things like that. The one fish I have not caught, though, and my daughter Willow has caught, is a snook. So that's still on my list. I want to catch a snook, and she has, but I haven't. But anyway, we're going to read a story in the Gospel of Matthew, Matthew 4, about a fisherman. You probably know the story, but let me go ahead and read that, and then we'll unpack it and take a look at it here for a minute. As he walked by the Sea of Galilee, and this person, he is Jesus. So as Jesus walked by the Sea of Galilee, he saw two brothers, Simon, who is called Peter, and Andrew, his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. And he said to them, "Follow me, and I will make you fish for people." Immediately they left their nets and followed him. Matthew 4, verses 18 through 20. Well, with our high school and middle school kids, one of the things I like to do is point out a word or a phrase that really jumps out at me, and then to kind of take a look at what that word or phrase means and what it means for us here today. And the first word that really jumped out at me in reading these three verses is the word immediately. When these soon-to-be disciples saw Jesus and Jesus invited them to follow him, they immediately jumped out of the boat. My guess is they jumped in the water and swam to Jesus. I would have done that, maybe. But immediately they did that. And I think that's pretty cool. They saw something in Jesus, realized something, and followed him. The second phrase, though, of course, is this phrase, "Follow me." What exactly does it mean to follow Jesus? And I think oftentimes we think being a Christian or being religious means, and we call this checklist Christianity, it means that you do some things and you check it off the list. Like, okay, I got up and I read a Bible verse, and I put $1 in the offering plate, and I was nice to my sister, something like that. Or you don't do things like, okay, or you stop doing things. Okay, I didn't say a bad word today, or I wasn't mean to somebody, and I could have been. So you kind of check off things you do, or check off things you don't do. And you think, oh, if I do enough of those, God will be really happy with me, and that's what it means. But I think to be a Jesus follower, to follow Jesus, means a whole lot more than that. Okay, and I like to think of it in terms of the word vision. Okay, vision. In other words, what is your vision for what it means to follow Jesus? And for the disciples, at least Andrew and Peter, it meant just leaving everything, immediately jumping in the water, coming after Jesus and following him. And I think if we have a vision for what that means, that vision is like, it takes over who we are. And here's the phrase I'd like us to think about, and maybe even memorize this phrase, okay? You have a vision of following Jesus, and the vision has you. Okay, I'll say it again. You have a vision of following Jesus, and the vision has you. In other words, this vision of following Jesus just takes over your whole life. Like, it just spills out everywhere. It's not checking things off a list. It's just who you are. And it's almost like you can't get enough of it. It's a vision of following Jesus, and that vision has taken over who you are. That vision has you. Okay, raise your hand again if you have ever heard of the name Walt Disney. Anybody heard of Walt Disney? Of course we have. We live here in Florida. I'm sure everyone listening to this, watching this, has been to Disney World or Disneyland. I've been out to Disneyland in California, and there are Disney Worlds all over the place now. And I used to go as a high school kid, and I've been going there for years and years and years. And I heard a story about Walt Disney just after he died. He lived to be 65 years old. And at his funeral, the story is, I don't know if it's true, but the story is that one of the speakers got up and started talking about Walt Disney and talked about his amazing life and the vision he had with his theme parks and for kids and children, and just all the amazing, incredible, really cool, fun things he did, and just went on, and how much of an impact he made in people's lives. And finally, someone leaned over to his sister. That's what how the story goes. Leaned over to his sister and said, "Man, I wish Walt could have seen this." And his sister replied to the person, "Oh, he did." Okay, Walt had a vision for what he wanted to have accomplished. And I think as Jesus followers, that's what we need. We need to have a vision of following Jesus, and the vision has you. Okay, so think about that, read those verses again, and just contemplate for a little bit what it means to be a Jesus follower. Okay, thank you. God bless you. Thanks for joining me, and we will see you next time.